Hey, what's good, everybody? The Who Dat Nation. It is the one and only Who Dat Davis here for you. If you don't know, you will know that over here we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. And thank y'all for checking out today's video. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody who watches my content on a regular basis. Y'all know who you are: CB, Carly, Jerry Poor, Ghostface, Damien, Rose City, even Big Country checks out my content every now and again. So shout out to him over there as he reps the Atlanta Falcons. All you guys that make this channel what it is, I'm very blessed. As always, you know what I mean. I will forever be grateful, and I'll always give you guys that recognition that you guys so rightfully deserve. Now, let's go ahead and break down today's video. And what are we breaking down? We're looking at the defensive end position, also the edge rushing position. Excuse me, lump in my throat. But in all seriousness, we got a lot to talk about in terms of this defensive end position for the New Orleans Saints, who has a vacated spot because Trey Hendrickson signed a 4-year deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. He joins Von Bell, former Saints defensive back Von Bell, over there on their defense. So congratulations to Trey Hendrickson for getting that bag. You will forever be part of the Who Dat Nation, no matter where you end up. You know what I mean? I hope the best for you. So the defensive end position for the New Orleans Saints has a glaring need for a stud, more so than ever, and probably what most don't care to realize. Why? Because look at what's left. We have Cam Jordan, who had something of a fall off year last season. We have Marcus Davenport, who hasn't come into his own yet, and I don't believe the Saints are going to exercise the 5th-year option on him because he hasn't been not only productive, but he's been injury prone. And Carl Granderson, who is coming on, but he can't do all the work himself, and he still needs, more starting reps before they can really try and commit to Carl Granderson. So, who do the Saints draft in this 2021 NFL draft this year to really give the Saints that need at that edge position? Well, a lot of people probably don't know this name because it's from a school that's not talked about much. But we have defensive end Carlos Boogie Basham Jr., a 6'5", 275-pound defensive end out of Wake Forest. Carlos Boogie Basham Jr. is something that many have considered to be one of the top pass rushers coming out of this 2021 draft class. And I will tell you why. I have his stats right here in front of me, right here on my card. Let's look at 2018 all the way up to 2020. His 2017 campaign was a little rocky because he was just coming on, but he really grew into his position as the years went on. 2020 was a fall-off year because of COVID-19, so we're not going to count it too heavily against him. But we're gonna look into those stats anyway. Let's look at 2018. In 2018, Carlos Boogie Basham Jr., I'll just call him Boogie from this point forward. But Boogie here, he amounted 64 total tackles. 57 of those were solo. 64 total tackles. 36 of those were solo. 28 of those were assisted. He ended up 4.5 sacks and a pass defended. I'll read that back to you guys. Boogie in 2018, 64 total tackles. 36 of those were solo, 28 of those were assisted, and he ended up with 4.5 sacks. And of those 36 solo tackles, 7 of those were tackles for loss. 7 of those were tackles for loss. And that's actually really good for a guy that's coming into his second year in college football. Now let's look at 2019, which is arguably his best campaign. 2019 Boogie, his campaign is as follows. His 57 total tackles, 26 of those were solo, 31 of those were assists. He had 11 sacks, he had 3 forced fumbles, and 3 passes defended. I'll read that back. 2019 campaign for Boogie. 57 total tackles. 26 of those were solo. 31 of those were assisted. He had 11 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 passes defended. And of those 26 solo tackles, 18 of those were tackles for loss. You heard me right. 18 out of those 26 solo tackles were tackles for loss. And he amounted 11 sacks to go with his campaign. What does that tell you? It tells me that despite having an overall drop off in total tackles overall in the 2019 season, he was really effective when he actually got home. He made the most out of the little he got. And that's really good. That's something that you need. That's something that says that you can't take him lightly. That's something that shows that Boogie can be a guy that is that could be a top edge rusher or a top defensive end in the league. He could be something like Joey Bosa or even Nick Bosa in his rookie year. Let's look at 2020. I did say we look at 2020 for a little bit. 2020, Boogie's campaign, he had 28 total. He had 20 of those for solo. Yes, 20 of those were solo. He almost matched his 2019 solo tackle campaign. 2020 solo tackles were 20. 8 of those were assists. He mounted 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 pass defended. In a year where COVID-19 spread like wildfire and the league year was short for the ACC, Boogie put up those stats. He was on pace to potentially match his 2019 campaign. When you look at the film on a guy like Boogie, what stands out to me is he has excellent swim technique to stunt on the inside. He's able to get around the outside. He doesn't bull rush. He doesn't have that type of bull rush technique like Marcus Davenport does. But he's effective with his techniques. He's a great stunt man. He's able to create a lot of pressure. He's able to seal the edge against the likes of Jalen Hurts or even Lamar Jackson, those type of players that love to do the RPOs to get quarterbacks who are able to run on the outside, like out on the boundaries. You know what I mean? So a guy like Boogie can really solidify your right side of the your right edge side opposite of Cam Jordan. I don't believe Marcus Davenport is going to be a guy that the Saints will bring back after his last year of his contract. So it's up to the Saints to really look at, setting up for the future. And I do believe the future can be in Carlos Boogie Basham. Boogie Basham. That's what they call him over there in Wake Forest. Boogie Basham. At what point do I see Boogie Basham being drafted? I do believe he is a second round prospect. He can be a guy that slips into the third round even. I do believe the Saints can get him in the third round, maybe even the fourth round. They may have to trade up from their fourth round spot, maybe trade in the rest of their picks, since it's been shown that the Saints don't really use a lot of their later round picks, their later round picks for their team. They usually just either give them away or they cut them sometime later. So at the end of the day, Boogie Basham is a guy that, even though he doesn't really jump out all the time on film, he's very, very effective. He is a great stunt man. He is a guy that can get pressure. He is a guy that can seal your edge. He can give you production. He can give you availability. And we know how that is crucial on this Saints defensive line. The best ability is availability. Trey Henderson may have had his best showing at 13.5 sacks in a pro season, but towards the end where they needed him most, he suffered injuries. I don't understand what it is about these defensive ends for the Saints that can't stay healthy outside of Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson, but they need another guy to seal that edge and make sure, it's not an issue going forward. I do believe Boogie Basham is their guy. But what do you think? When you look at the film on Boogie Basham out of Wake Forest, what stands out to you the most? Do you believe the Saints will make a move to get Boogie Basham? If not, then who do you think they should get within, I'd say, either the third or fourth round? I do believe they're going to go after this guy. But he gives you that kind of production. But that's it. That's all. I look forward to your opinions in the comment section. And as always, we bleed black and gold until we're dead and cold. I'll holler at y'all next time in the next video.